नमस्कारः स्वागतम् अद्य सप्तमः दिनाङ्कः बुधवासरः मङ्गलाचरणम् रामो राजमणिः सदा विजयते रामं रमेशं भजे रामेणाभिहता निशाचरचमू रामाय तस्मै नमः रामान्नास्ति परायणं परतरं रामस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम् रामे चित्तलयः सदा भवतु मे भो राम मामुद्धर राम रामेति रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने श्रीराम नाम वरानन ओन्नम इति। अथ श्री माहेश्वर सूत्राणि अ इ उण् ऋल ऋक् ए ओङ् ऐ औच् हयवरट् लण् ञ मङ ण नम् जबै घडदश जब गडदश कफ छ छ च च ट तव कपै श ष सर हल इति महाशसूत्राणि। Last week no class. गत सप्ताहे शिक्षावर्गो नासीत् अतिवृष्टि कारणात्, because he had this heavy storm last week, so no internet was there. But actually I got the internet back just before the class, but it was too late to start the class. That was also Panini's grace, I think. Just got it back before the class. But anyway, so I put that here in the document here that there was no class on August 31. Today is September 7th. Okay. So we are on page number 132. 132. You're doing the Namadhatu Prakriya. We are on point number 3 with the quip pratyaya where we stopped last time. So point number 3 on page 132. Quip is that the verbal base is formed directly and conveys, means it is from the Prajpadikam itself. So Prajpadikad vidhiyate. Natu subantat. This Vartikam is prescribed in the quip pratyaya directly after a Pratipadikam, not after a Subantam. That's important because then we cannot get the Padasanya for the Angam, because there is no Suptingantam Padam. So we're going to see example here today where we get the form Rajanati. So here there will be no nakar lopa here because there is no padasanya for the Angam Rajan, because this Vartikam says the pratyaya will come directly after the Pradipadikam. So that's what is meant directly, is what it says, and conveys the idea of acting like. So what that is that this Vartikam, as any Vartikam, is based on a sutram, and the sutram is we're going to see the next point number 4, which is 3.1.11. So in the Mahabhashyam, this Vartikam will be on the Vyakhyanam in Kashika Kaumudi. It says Vartikam under this sutram Kartuhakyang Salopascha. So Tadvishayakam Vartikam. This Vartikam will be the same context as that sutram. And that sutram says Upamanat Kartuh. Upamanat Kartuh. So this pratyaya comes after Upamanavachaka Shabdaha, which is a simile or a comparison being given, a comparison or simile, and that is a Kartru. One who acts like that. So he himself is the doer of the action. Then Subantad. The Subantad is for the sutram, not for the Vartikam. Subantad Achare Kyang Vasyat. So in Achare, Upamanat Kartuhu Achare. So one who acts like that. Acts like that thing which is signified by the term which is taking the pratyaya. So now when we say under that sutram, when we give the Vartikam, which is this one here, which we did last time, is Sarva Pratipadekebhya Quipva Vaktavyaha. So this quip will come under the same meaning as this sutram, which is Upamanat Kartuhu Achare. Upamanat Kartuhu Achare. But instead of being Subantat, it will be Pratipadika directly. Here Pratyaya is not Kyan, it will be quip. So that's what this Vartikam means, that when someone acts like something which is being given as a simile for that acting, then that word which is a simile, that will take this pratyaya quip. So example given here is straightforward. Says Krishna iva acharati. Okay, so Krishna iva acharati krishnati nataha. Nataha. Remember, he acts himself. He's not treating somebody else like that, but himself he's acting. That is a difference. That's the difference here. So so if you say something like so you cannot use it if he's treating somebody else like that. So that I think the example that is given here is give me 1 second, find a good example for you. So if you say that Krishnati Bhaktam, that is not correct. If we treat the devotee like Krishna, that you cannot see, because he has to act himself like that. Okay, so you got Krishna Vacharati, Krishnati Nataha. So the prakriya is quite straightforward. Krishna plus quip. Again, this is a Pradipatikam directly, which takes the pratyaya Krishna plus quip. And then we get the quip takes the Sarvapahar Lopaha by Upadeshaduna Nasika It. This ikara is gone. And then the Halantyam Pakarasit Sanya Tasya Lopaha. And Lashak Patadite Kakarasit Sanya Tasya Lopaha. And finally Vera Pruktasya. Vera Pruktasya. Vera Pruktasya. Because when the Vakara of V remains behind, there's a Prukta. A Prukta means Ekal Pratyaha. Aprukta ekal pratyaha. See, all these sanyas are important. Aprukta ekal pratyaha. So these sanyas are important. So when that let's look at this, should be in the first. Yeah, aprukta ekal pratyaha 1 to 41. So when that vakara remains behind as the ekal pratyaha, so vakara of V, which says vehe, vera pruktasya. In that case, it also takes lopaha with 6167. It is not an it, but that vakara takes lopaha. Sarvapahar lopaha. So you get Krishna now becomes a dhatu. So one point also put over here is this quip pratyaya does not have the ardhadhatuka sanya. This quip pratyaya, because the same pratyaya quip which is prescribed elsewhere will have the sanya of ardhadhatukam because of ardhadhatukam shesha. For example, look at 3276 quipcha. And that's not the only place, because any quip which is prescribed after the sutram, which is dhatoho. So any quip which comes after dhatoho. For dhatoho, as we have seen in the daily examples, is that there's a dhatoho in 317, only one sutram, and from 3122 starts the dhatoho and goes all the way down. So if a quip is prescribed after 3122, that quip will have sanya of ardhadhatukam. This quip is a vartikam on 3111. This does not have the sanya of ardhadhatukam. So this is an interesting thing. The same pratyaya quip means pratyaya of the same form, can have a sanya of ardhadhatukam and cannot have sanya of ardhadhatukam depending on where it's prescribed. Similarly, I think I said last time at the end of the class, pratyaya nich, this nich is prescribed at 3121. Nich does not have sanya of ardhadhatukam. When the famous nich which we have studied, Churadibhyo nich 3125 and Hetumaticha nich, those have the sanya of ardhadhatukam. This one does not. 3121 does not, because dhatu riti na vihitaha. Dhatu riti na vihitaha. It doesn't come after dhatu. Why is it important to us right now? Because the quip doesn't have sanya of ardhadhatukam, does not come in the dhatoho dikaraha. Otherwise, you have had atolopaha. Atolopa ardhadhatuke. 6448. 6448 atolopaha ardhadhatuke. So now all these sutras we have learned, we have to practice them, because now we're coming to the end of the book now. So we have to practice these. So pratyaya lope pratyaya lakshanam, we would have had atolopa ardhadhatuke, so that the akara idea of Krishna would have been subject to lopaha ardhadhatuke, but this quip pratyaya does not have sanya of ardhadhatukam, so that the dhatu becomes Krishna because of the sanadyanta dhatavaha. Sanadyanta dhatavaha. Sanadyanta dhatavaha from 315, the pratyaya guptijkidbhyasan up to 3131, which is the ayadaya ardhadhatukeva. This one up to kumerning basically. All these get the sanya of the samudaya now gets sanya of dhatu. We need that because we cannot bring any lakaraha in the krut pratyaya unless we have the dhatu sanya. So Krishna got the dhatu sanya. So we become a full round now. Dhatu was Krishna. We add a pratyaya to that to make the pratipadikam Krishna. We took the pratipadikam Krishna, added pratyaya to that, and now made it back to a dhatu. So they now got the dhatu sanya again. So this is like a full circle. We started with a dhatu. We got a pratipadikam Krishna. Then again we added pratyaya to the pratipadikam and made it into a dhatu again. So now Krishna is a dhatu, so we can bring the lakara. As I said, with nama dhatus, mostly lat only is used. Prayana lat eva drishyate, nama dhatu bhyaha. So we get Krishna plus lat, of course, vartamane lat. This is nothing special. Anubandha lopaha, and then we get the pratyaya tip, and anubandha lope ti, halantyam, and then shap, because kartari shap. So I mentioned many times in the class, kartari shap is the default. Doesn't mean that the bhavadigana only takes shap. Shap is the default. Utsarga. So this is the utsarga, so it takes the default, and then nothing can stop that. Anubandha lope, lashakwatadite halantyam, Krishna ati, and then we get atogune, because we have apadant akara over here, followed by because again this Krishna did not get the padasanya at all, because this was done directly after pratipadikam. So we got apadant akara followed by the akara of shap puraparayoho ekadeshaha. So this is the atogune. So this is the pararupam ekadeshaha, when we have a apadant akara followed by the a letter which is the gunasanya adeng gunaha, then puraparayoho ekadesha is the pararupam ekadesha. Now all these rules have been covered in the daily examples many times. Please practice these rules every day. So if you want to get some practice, for example, ato lopaha, you just have to search over here for ato lopaha, and you should find some examples at least. This sutra we have used many times. See all these examples here. Sorry, atogune, I'm sorry. Atogune. So all these are many. So if there's a sutra in the class which you don't understand, then you can try to go and get some good examples and practice that. I mean, now in this daily examples series, we've already covered about 400 rules. It's quite a lot. It's growing every week. So, pretty soon you'll have a good library over there to practice. So this is the backbone of all the classes which I mentioned to you all the time. So we got ato lopaha. And then Krishnati is the form. So Krishna eva acharati, Krishnati. Similarly, we say Kavihi eva acharati. So now in the book, we are going to the same point. It's a resulting verb is conjugated in the parasmay padam because of sheshat kartari parasmay padam. So atmane padasya nimittam nasti. There is no nimittam to bring atmane padam. So when that is the case, we get sheshat kartari parasmay padam. And this also has been covered in daily examples almost every day. So sheshat kartari parasmay padam, because this is not, there's no nimittam to bring the atmane padam, because atmane padam has to be specifically prescribed. The default is parasmay padam. If you're talking kartari, again this is only kartari. If it's passive, then of course bhava karmanoho is only brings atmane padam. With kartari, the default is parasmay padam. There has to be something to trigger the atmane padam. Devoid of that, you'll get sheshat karti parasmay padam. This dhatu did not have anything to make it atmane padam, because atmane padam comes by rules like anudat tagnita atmane padam and so on, which you've seen in daily examples. We don't have that. So that's what the book is saying, is that conjugated in the at parasmay padam, because that is the default. There's no nimittam for getting atmane padam. Now, so Krishna eva acharati krishnati. Now let's take the next example. Kavirava acharati kavayati. And pita eva, piteva acharati pitarati. Now what's happening here is that because that shap has come in here, so let's take example. So kavirava acharati, kavihi eva acharati, kavayati. The same vartikam is that sarva pratipadikebhya, Vibha Bhaktavya. Again, one more time, this is a Vartikam under 8.1.3.1.11. Kartushkyang Salopascha. So it will be the Tadvishayakam Vartikam. It will be that. So we have to get these terms, which is the Upamanat Kartuhu, Achare. We'll get this Pratyaya. So Kavirava Acharati. I think we did this last time, just revising what last time we did. So we get Kavi Iva Acharati, Kavihi Iva Acharati, Kavi plus Quip. Again, one more time, this comes directly from the Pratipadikam, so no need to do the Supo Dhatu Pratipadikayoha, we don't need that, and this Kavi will not get the Padasanya either, so Kavi plus Quip, same as before, Yatha Purvam, Sarvapahara Lopaha, finally by Verapraktasya, now Kavi gets the Dhatu Sanya, Sadanyanta Dhatavaha, everything same as before, being the Lat Pratyaya, Vartamane Lat, and of course by Sheshat Krati Parasmapadam, we get the tip pratyaha, anubandha lopa, halantyam tasya lopaha. Nothing special here at all. Same before, kartari shap. and then Anubandha Lopaha, Lashakvataditya Halantyam. Then we get this is the Gunaha by Sarvadhatuka Ardhadhatuka Yoho. The Guna is being done by the Shap Pratyaya. Because Shap Pratyaya, of course, is Sanya of by Ting Shit Sarvadhatukam. It is a Pit Sarvadhatukam. The moment you hear the word Sarvadhatukam, immediately think of Sarvadhatukam Apit. Immediately think of Sarvadhatukam Apit. Because that makes the Pit Pratyaya, the Apit Pratyaya, Apit Sarvadhatuka Pratyaya is important. It cannot do Gunavriddhi. The Iglakshana Gunavriddhi cannot be done. So the moment you hear the word Sarvadhatukam, immediately think of Sarvadhatukam Apit. But in our case right now, Shap is a Pit Pratyaya, so we don't have to, we cannot apply Sarvadhatukam Apit, so we will not become Nitvat, so there's no Guna Nishedha, so then Sarvadhatuka Ardhadhatuka Yoho, Sarvadhatuka Ardhadhatuka Yoho will do Guna Adesha. That's what the book is saying in this point number 3, is that the final vowel takes Guna because of the Shap Pratyaya which comes, it does the Guna Adesha by Sarvadhatuka Ardhadhatuka Yoho. So then we get Kavayati and then Echo Yava Yavaha, Kavayati, Kavayati. Same thing when you do, we get Pitru plus Shap, again Guna Adesha, Sarvadhatuka Ardhadhatuka Yoho. It is very strange because see, we are not used to applying Sarvadhatuka Ardhadhatuka Yoho after a Pratipadikam. Because see that the Sanya of Sarvadhatuka or Ardhadhatuka Sanya, it only comes when it is prescribed Dhatoho. Now normally this Pratipadikam will not get a Dhatu Sanya like that. So it looks very strange to take that the Pratipadikam now a Dhatu, like Kavi or Pitru has now become a Dhatu. So this sounds very strange, but this is the way it is because we made a Nama Dhatu out of it. We've got a Dhatu Sanya now, so the ending Rukara of Pitru will take the Guna Adesha by Sarvadhatuka Ardhadhatuka Yoho, which is very strange because Pratyaya which is Sanya of Sarvadhatukam or Ardhatukam will only come after Dhatu. But now that Pitru has a Dhatu Sanya, that's what has happened. Because we added the Quip and that got the Dhatu Sanya, Pitru got Dhatu Sanya by Sanadyanta Dhatavaha. So then we get the Guna Adesha, Uran Raparaha. Uran Raparaha, of course, Pitarati. The only thing here is that Uran Raparaha. Uran Raparaha, I think that we know all that. So same thing as before, as in Kavayati. Other thing is Uran Raparaha. We get the Pitarati, same thing as before. Okay, now let's try this one now. Raja Iva Acharati Raja Nati. So let's see if the book may have mentioned that. Okay, now this is this last point, and this point number 3, the penultimate Akaraha, Upadha Bhutaha, Akaraha, of the stems Anantasya Angasya, of ending in An is lengthened, Tasya Dirgha Bhavati. So Raja Iva Rajeva Acharati Rajanati. Someone behaves like a king. Now let's go to the steps. We need one sutram here, which is in the Upadha Dirgha Adhikara over here. So just to refresh your memory, always keep a track of where you're in the Ashtadhyayi. One of the best ways to learn Vyakaranam is know where in the Ashtadhyayi you are, which most people don't do today, but we should try to make that a habit for us. This sutram that we have learned, Dhalope Purvasya Dirghornaha. Dhalope Purvasya Dirghornaha. Of course, this has been covered in daily examples many times. Anuvritti of Dirgha. This Dirgha has a Dirgha Anuvritti. So you can say that, Padamaryadam Padasamaptim Ullanghya Agre Gacchati. It goes beyond the Pada boundary. So Padamaryadam Ullanghya Agre Gacchati. So it goes beyond end of 6.3, it goes into 6.4. So this up to 6.4.18 comes this Anuvritti of Dirgha from Dralope Purvasya Dirghornaha. So this Dirgha takes a Dirgha Anuvritti. Remember it like that. So this Dirgha takes a Dirgha Anuvritti all the way down beyond the Pada boundary, down to 6.4.18. So Pada Samaptim. So Pada Maryadam Ullanghya Agregachati. It goes ahead. Now in that we have this sutram, and between that we also have this Upadhaya house coming down here. Upadhayaha. So we'll combine those together. We're talking Upadhadirgha. So here we get the Sutram Anunasikasya Kvijaloho Kiniti. Kvijaloho Kiniti. Any new Sutram, repeat it many times. It has the power, it has the prabhava, it has the vaishishtyam to give you that knowledge in the most optimal way. In the most optimal way to get Vyakaranam Jnanam. Repeat the Sutram and slowly it will sink in you. So Anunasik, because they have been composed with enormous care, you cannot imagine. Anyway, so Anunasikasya Kvijaloho Kiniti. So then Vritya that says that, because right now the Pratyaya Quip is coming. That's why we need this Sutra. We need this Sutra right now because we have the Quip Pratyaya. So and we have Anunasikanta Mangam because we say Rajan Pradipadika we can use now. That's why we are using this Sutram right now. Anunasikasya Kvijaloho Kiniti is it's quite straightforward Sutram. Anunasikantasya. So ending in a nasal. This we don't forget when the Angasya Adhikara. Yes, one more thing by the way is that I think you must have noticed already is when this Anuvritti of Dirgha came into, so Dhalope Purush Dirghanaha, Anuvritti came down into 6.4, then we start the Angasya Adhikara here. So that's why this pada had to be split out over here. So then we can say that, well, because why didn't they put the pada boundary up to 6.4.18 then? No, because the Angasya Adhikara is a Pradhana Adhikara. It's a main Adhikara. So that starts from 6.4.1. So there was no choice but to split out the 6.3 and start a new pada 6.4.1 with the Angasya Adhikara. So now we are in the Angasya Adhikara. So Angasya Adhikara now means for 6.4.15. So we Anunasikantasya Angasya. Anunasikantasya upadhayaha dirgha syat kvau jaladau chakiniti. Because kvi jaloho kiniti. So kvau jaladau chakiniti. Right now we can ignore this part of it. We can just take the kvau. Kvau is what we need right now. So when we take the Raja eva acharati, Rajeva acharati, Rajanati, Rajan plus quip, the same Vartikam, which is we are using the same Vartikam all over again. This is the Sarvapratipatike Kvibva Vaktavya under the Sutram, which is Kartushkyang Salopascha, and we put the Pratyaya Quip, so Yatha Purvam Sarvapahar Lopaha. Tatpaschat we get the Pratyaya Lope Pratyaya Lakshanam. Pratyaya Lope Pratyaya Lakshanam. Pratyaya Lope Pratyaya. Remember the Sutram Nalumata Angasya only applies when you do the Luk Shlu Luppa. You might thinking when the Pratyaya Quip has come and gone, how can we do Upada Dirgha based on the Quip now? How can we do Upada Dirgha based on the Quip? Evam na Shankaniyam. So you should not think about Evam na Shankyam because that Nalumata Angasya only happens when you have the Luk Shlu Lup. Right now we only took Lopaha, not the Panini has to use the term Luk Shlu or Lup. Then and that removes the entire Pratyaya in one shot. Pratyaya Luk Shlu Lupaha. Only then the Angakaram will start based on that Pratyaya Angakaram can be done. Right now we did not use any Luk Shlu or Lup. We only use the Lopaha, not Luk Shlu Lup. So because we use Tasya Lopaha for these three, Tasya Lopaha, then we use the Virapraktasya also Lopaha only. So we can definitely use Pratyaya Lopa Pratyaya Lakshanam. That can be used anyway. We can do the Angakaryam also based on the Quip. It was not done Luk Shlu Lup. So then you can use that to do the Anunasikasya Kvijaloho Kiniti. But this is an important sutram by the way because the sutram in a word like Shantihi, Dantaha, in all these words this sutram is used like a word like Shantihi. Take the dhatu Sham Pratyaktin. Of course, that's not the topic of today. I'm just mentioning this is an important sutram. This sutram is an important sutram. A word like Shanti is a very common word, right? A word like Kantaha. My teacher's name was Kantaha, Lakshmi Kantaha. So these words, this is an important sutram because his name used that sutram. Because you have to Upada Dirgha there also, like Shantaha, Akantaha, Dantaha, all of these words we have to use because Jalo, so Jalado Kiniti, Pratyaktin, Pratyakta. So when the moment you have Anunasikanta Mangam, it has to be Jaladi. If you get Idagamaha, then no, then it doesn't happen. Anyway, so even though we're using this for the Quip right now, this is an important sutram which we should know because quip may not be that common, but this jalado kiniti is very common. We have to know that. So okay, so now we got the pratyaya lopi pratyaya lakshanam. Then we get anunasikasya kujaloho kiniti upada dirgha alontyat pura upadha. And now one thing is put the point here, there is no nakar lopa of Rajan, because the Rajan never got the padasanya. Because as I mentioned to you many times in the class today, is that this Vartikam prescribes the pratyaya quip after the Pratipadikam directly, not after the Subantam Padam. Because so therefore there's no sup came and went, so we cannot use the Suptingantam Padam at all over here. So this Rajan never gets the Padasanya, so we cannot use the no lopaha Pratipadika cannot be used over here, so we stay as Rajan. Because this 1,4,14 cannot be applied because the Vartikam prescribed the Quip Pratyaya directly after the Pratipadikam. So then rest of it is simple. Once you get Rajan, gets the Dhatu Sanya by Stanadyanta Dhatavaha. Rest of it is so Shesham Saralam. Rest of it is easy. Lat Pratyaya Vartamani Lat Anubandha Lopaha. Again Sheshat Kartari Parasmai Padam Tiptaji Anubandha Lopaha Rajan Prasti. Then Kartari Shap Anubandha Lopaha. And then Rajanati. The only important thing here is the sutram which we saw. Nasikasya Kwijaloho Kiniti. Okay, so that I think we were pretty much up to this point last time. We were kind of here. Now, again, last week there was no class. So today is September 7. So let's look at the sutram now, for which we already saw the Vartikam. Let's look at the main sutram now. So Kartushkyang Salopascha. Let's follow it here in the order of the Ashtadhyayi. It is 3, 4, 11. We already saw the, 3, 1, 11. 3, 1, 11, not 3, 4, 11. 3, 1, 11. We already saw the Supahatmanaha Kyach. We saw Kamyach. Upamanad Achare. So we saw Achare. Upamanad Achare is coming down here, but it's Kartuhu now. So someone behaves like it himself. He's not treating somebody like that. He's behaving himself like something, which is a comparison being given. And that comparison word takes the pratyaya kyang. So this under this was the Vartikam which prescribed the quip. Sutram itself prescribes kyang. But this kyang has one more thing, which is salopascha. Sakar lopaha takes place of the yagam. So we'll look at that in a second. But the sutram, look at the vritti of that. Any sutram, first thing is repeat the sutram as many times as you can. That's the most productive use of your time. Is kartuh kyang salopascha. After that, repeat the vritti a few times. The top priority is for the sutram. What has Panini said? That is pramanam. Then, of course, vritti is important because like Siddhanta Kaumudi, at least we can think of Bhattuji Dikshita as second Panini, so to speak. So this Bhattuji Dikshita was like a Dvitiya Panini Sadrishaha, almost like Panini, because he cleaned out the entire science of grammar and gave us Siddhanta Kaumudi. So whatever Bhattuji says, of course, we cannot override Panini, but it has almost the same standing as the what Panini has said. So these are Bhattuji's words. Upamanat kartuhu, subantadachare, kyang vasyat. Upamanat kartuhu, we just talked about that. Is that when somebody is acting like somebody else, that comparison word which is given. After that, we'll get the Pratipadikam, but here's a subantad. So this pratyaya kyang is coming after subantam padam. While the Vartikam prescribed the quip directly after Pratipadikam, this is the only difference here, is subantad. Because anuvritti of supaha comes over here. Supaha atmanaha kyach. Okay, because the Vartikam specifically told us that sarva pratipadikebhya quibva vaktavyaha. So the Vartikam said Pratipadikam, but the Sutram itself, anuvritti of supaha is coming down, so we'll have to do this after subantam padam. Everything is pretty much the same, upamanat kartuho, achare, but then sumantat. Then kyang vasyat. So pakshe vakyamapi. We get the vakyam also. Pakshe, he said, so this is from the Kaumudi. Santasya tu kartruvachakasya lopo vasyat. So then this, if it's sakarantam, if you have, a Paratipadikam, means in this case we'll get Subantam. The Angam is Santam Angam, means ending in a Sakaraha. You'll take the Lopaha optionally. And okay, that's point number one. And then Kyang va ityuktehe pakshe vakyam. This is very simple. I hope by this point you're trying to get some confidence into opening Siddhanta Kaumudi, reading the simple sentences there, trying to make some sense. See, Bhattoji has put great amount of effort in keeping the Kaumudi to the point, keeping it short and sweet and as simple as possible. So the Siddhanta Kaumudi is really the distilled knowledge of Vyakaranam. He puts nothing extra that he needs to put. Nothing will waste your time in Siddhanta Kaumudi. And he's kept it as simple as possible. He only brings those special points which have to be brought up. So it says, Kyang va ityuktehe pakshe vakyam, because it says va. So pakshe, when there is no pratyaya, then you get vakyam also. Then santasya lopastu kyang sanni yoga shishtaha, which means that yes, you will get the vakyam pakshe, but in the vakyam will have no sakara lopaha. This sakara lopaha is only kyang sanni yoga shishtaha. It's only prescribed when the kyang pratyaya comes, the kyang. So if you make a vakyam, there will be no, of course there will be no sakara lopaha. The sakara lopa is only when the kyang pratyaya comes. So santasya lopastu kyang sanniyoga shishtaha is prescribed only when kyang comes. And searcha vyavasthitaha. Searcha vyavasthita is also a very important concept. I think we've seen this before. Vyavasthita vibhasha. Vyavasthita vibhasha. A vibhasha which has some order to it. Again, all these technical terms, you should refer to Professor Abhyankar's Dictionary of Sanskrit Grammar. Very, very authoritative. Very nice. Again, very to the point. It's in English, of course. So what is the meaning of Vyavasthita Vibhasha? What does it mean? You just open the book. It says, this Dictionary of Sanskrit Grammar by Professor Abhyankar, edited by Shukla, and there he will tell you what is the meaning of Vyavasthita Vibhasha. Vyavasthita Vibhasha means that the Vibhasha doesn't mean optionality in every case. It has an order, Vyavastha to it. It has an order in the Vibhasha. There is an order. There are some rules within the Vibhasha. It's not that in every case we can optionally, have an optionality. So let me read it to you. Let me read it from the dictionary what this says. Vyavasthita Vibhasha. Vyavasthita Vibhasha. Okay, Vyavasthita Vibhasha. Vyavasthita Vibhasha. He gives a nice definition. He gives, Vyavasthita Vibhasha. Vyavastha. Okay, an option which does not apply universally in all instances of a rule, which prescribes an option optionally, but applies necessarily in some cases. So the optionality is such, in some cases it will necessarily apply, and does not apply in all other cases. The total result being an option regarding the content of the rule. So one more time, this doesn't mean that in every sakaranta, in our case, sakaranta padam or angam, you will get optional sakar lopa. That's not the optionality. There is a vyavastha in that. Vyavastha means that some of them will take sakar lopaha nityam. Itaresham na bhavatyeva. Other will not take at all. So that is the optionality. Optionality means vyavasthita vibhasha is a very important concept. Vyavasthita vibhasha means that the optionality is such that in some cases the rule is always applied. In some cases it is not applied at all. So that's the optionality. Not that in every case it is optional. Okay. So what do we have here? And so Siddhanta Kaumudi says, such a vyavasthitaha ojaso apsaraso nityam itaresham vibhashaya. Actually, in this case, this is another different kind, which is that ojaso apsaraso nityam, ojasaha and apsarasaha nityam. So this is the thing that for after the angam is ojas or apsaras. Ojas means like power or virility or strength. Ojas. In fact, comes in Gita. Good chance for me to open up the Gita today. Is here Pushnami Chaushadhi Sarvaha. No, I think comes in Gita somewhere. I thought I had the Gita here. Somo Bhutva. Here it is. It's correct. Here it is. Gama Vishcha Bhutani Dharayamiham Ojasa. Having entered the earth, I sustain it by my power, by my strength, by my virility. So, Gama Vishyacha Bhutani Dharayamyaham Ojasa. This shloka, this is not Gita class, but I have another interpretation of this shloka. Gama Vishyacha, Gam can mean even a cow. So, having entered Gomata, I sustain everything with my power. That's my own meaning, but the meaning normally given is that Gama Vishyacha Bhutani means having entered the earth. Dharayami, I support that. I sustain the earth with my ojas. Ojas means like, strength, power, glow. So ojasaha apsaraso nityam. Apsarasaha, you know what apsara means. So after ojas and apsaras will lose their sakara nityam when this pratyakyam comes in. Itaresham vibhashaya. The others will be optional everywhere. So that's what I mean. There's some order to the vyavastha. There's some order to it. So something will be nityam, something will be vibhasha, something it might not occur at all, something may not happen at all. So that is the kind of order within the vibhasha. Doesn't mean that everyone is optional. There's some order to it. Here the order is that ojas and apsaras will take sakala lopa nityam, remaining vibhashaya. So this is the vyavastha. Is ojas apsaraso nityam. That's the vibhasha. That's the vyavastha. Itaresham vibhashaya. Let's look at some examples now. So tarunaha iva acharati. Someone behaves like a vruddha son. Vastutaha vruddha son. Taruna iva acharati. So he is actually an old man, but whoever it is might be. He behaves like a young person. So tarunaha iva acharati. Tarunayate. Say kako garudayate. The crow acts like a garuda. Kako garudayate. Kako na garudayate actually. Anyway, so tarunaha iva acharati. This by the way, this pratyaya is used. This is not in Gita, I don't think. It's not in Gita, but you see it is there in the Bhagavata Puranam, etc. If you read this one more time, I think I gave the example last time, is that Trutir Yugayate Tvamapashyatam. What the gopis tell Krishna, that when you are gone, for us 1 second is like it behaves like one yuga. So when you are not there, when Krishna is not there, 1 second, tritihi, yugayate. Yuga iva acharati tritihi. So even 1 split second acts like a yuga for them when Krishna is not with them. So this pratyaya is common. It is used. It's not in. I don't think it's in the Gita. It is used. Tarunaha iva acharati is tarunayate. So being the taruna su, because this is a kartru, so kartu sabantad achare. So pratyaya su only, prathama only will come here. Su plus kyang by the sutram kartu kyang salopascha. This is not sakarantam, so we don't have to worry about salopascha. Salopa only if you have sakarantam. We don't have that right now. Sakarantamangam. So rest of it is straightforward. We get the dhatu sanya by the sanadyanta dhatavaha, then supo dhatu pradipadikayoho, and then we get the sulopaha. After that, anubandhalopaha lashakvatadhyate halantyam, and then we get the akrut sarvadhatukayoho dirghaha. Akrut sarvadhatukayoho dirghaha. So refresh your memory. 67425 we have seen. It says that if you have a yakara adi pratyaha, yakaraha, following an angam, and that yakara belongs to pratyaha which does not have the sanya either of krit sanya nor the sarvadhatuka sanya. In this case, what you have? We have the pratyakyang. Remember, it does not have the sanya of sarvadhatukam or ardhatukam. That has to be after dhatoho. This is subantad vidiyate, after sup. So it cannot get sanya of either sarvadhatukam or ardhatukam. And the adhikara of the krita thing starts from 3193. So that also doesn't come here. So bottom line is that the pratyakyang does not have sanya of sarvadhatukam, nor does it have sanya of the krit sanya. So that is why we can apply 7. Always check the vritti of the sutram. Always check like a lawyer examining, like a judge examining a case in front of you. Does this defendant or whatever plaintiff satisfy all the conditions required by the law? Does this case satisfy the conditions required by the law? And the law is Ashtadhyay. So 7425 here says akrut sarvadhatuka dirghaha. In fact, we already had this before in the class right here. So 7425 Here it is. Ajantangasya dirgho yadav pratyaya pare natu krit sarvadhatakayoho. And again, we have seen this example already in the daily examples, because when you win the pratyaya yak in the passive, this sutram akrit sarvataka dirgha has already been covered in the daily examples. So if you search for it here, you'll find it here. Like for example, if you make the passive become like shruyate, chiyate, stuyate, all these are examples of akrit sarvataka dirgha. So this example should show up here somewhere. Yes, let's see. Here it is. It says huyantam, samstuyate. So all these cases we already used akrit sarvatakayo dirgha. So this sutram should be familiar to you. If it is not, just go on the website and search for 7425. You can practice some examples here. So okay, so now let us come down here again. Akrit sarvataka dirgha. So then we got the form. Excuse me 1 second. Okay. So now we got the form tarunayate. Tarunaya is a new dhatu, but one more thing is that the 7433 is only kyachicha. This kyachi. Right now pratyaya is kyang, not kyach, it is kyang. So kyang pratyaya. So kyachicha will not apply. So we will not get the yikara deshaha. This is only the dirgha adesha, because tarunaya gets dhatu sanyasa dhadyanta dhatavaha. Then usually we add the pratyaya lat, vartamane lat, anubandha lopaha. Now in this case, because the pratyaya kyang has the kavarga panchama varna has an it, because of that we get the anudattagnyita atmane padam. So this will now take atmane padam. So we get the pratyaya ta, tiptaji, then tita atmane padanam tere. This should be all very straightforward to you. Again, all these rules are covered in daily examples. If you need to practice, just go and search for the sutram. You'll get plenty of practice. So tita atmane padanam tere, then tarunaya shap plus te, and then we get anubandha lopaha, and then we get ato gune again, because the ending akara of the tarunaya, this is a dhatu. Tarunaya is a dhatu now. Tarunaya. So this is not a padanta akara. So we get apadanta akara followed by a letter which is gunasanya puraparyoho ekadesha is the pararupam ekadesha. Pararupam ekadesha. Tarunayate. So very important sutram. Somebody acting like he is young. Tarunayate. Take another example. It says sakha iva acharati sakhiyate. Because here, same thing, akrit sarvadhatakayo dirgha, pratipadikam sakhi. Someone acts like a friend. Sakhiyate. Sakha acharati sakhi. Pratipadikam is sakhi. Also in the word sakha itself, your sutram anangsav has been used. It's also covered in daily examples many times. You can just search for this word sakha. On the website, you'll get many hits, and you can practice anangsav. How sakhi became sakha. Pratama ekavachanam anangsav sutram. You can search for 7193 on the website. A lot of practice you can get there. So sakha eva acharati, sakheva acharati, sakhiyate. Now how about this one? Pita eva acharati, pitriyate. So the same sutram, which is 3.1.11. So 3.1.11, which is kartuhu kyangsa lopascha. Right now we have no sakar lopa, we don't have, because this is not, of course, sakaranta mangam. So there's no question for that. We see that later on. So pitru plus su plus kyang, because this is kartuhu, so this is patama ekavachanam. Dhatu sanyasanadhyanta dhatavaha supo dhatu pradiptikayoho. Then anubandha lopa for the kyang, the shakpatadhi halantyam. Now we get the ringrataha. This also we have seen. In this class. So ringrataha. By the way, this sutram will not be there in the website as yet, because of the fact that let's look at this one for a second. Is the 7428 is a special rule which applies when the pratyaya yak comes in there. So 742 ring shaglingshu. So we have covered the yak pratyaya in the daily examples, but for that yak pratyaya, we do not use 7427 ring rataha. Instead, we use ring shag ling sho. Ring shag ling sho. So the 7427 you will not really find daily example as yet. Of course, we'll get to that someday. But because the 7428 is special sutram which applies for the pratyaya sha, yak, and ling, ardhatuka ling. So that will not apply. That will not take the ring, but will take the ring adesha, not the ring adesha. Well, right now we don't have sha, yak, or ling. The pratyaya kyang we have. So ring rataha. Ring rataha we have seen previously also ring rataha. So let's look at the vritti very soon. Ring rataha. So it says that akridyakare, same thing, asarvadhatake yakare chvauchapare rudantangasya ring adesha. Rudantangasya ring adesha. Angam ending in rikaraha like pitru. In this case, the pratyaya following is yakadi pratyaya, which is the pratyaya doesn't have sanya of krit or sarvadhatukam. Then the rudantam angam takes the ring adesha. Of course, you recognize that in ring adesha vahalantyam nakarasya itsanya. The projanam of that is to stop the anekachis sarvasya. Anekachis sarvasya would have replaced the entire angam pitru, entire sthani pitru by the ring, by the re. But nicha, as I've mentioned to you many times, the moment you think of placing an adesha, always think of alontyasya sutra chatushtayam. Think of the set of 4 rules. Alontyasya nicha adesh parasya anekashi sarvasya. So alontyasya with the first stop, but then anekashi sarvasya. The adesha ring anubandha lope re is anekala adesha. It has 2 letters in that. Repa and ikaraha. But nicha. So nityadesha anekalapi antasya alasthane bhavati. So the ring adesha only places the rikaraha, not the entire angam. So now we get the here it is. Okay, pitru plus ya. So pit ring plus ya, and then anuman by ring rataha and nicha, and anubandha lopa pitriya. So pitriyate. So pita iva acharati pitriyate. So you can say jeshta bandhu pita iva acharati. My elder brother behaves like he's like a father to me. So pitriyate. He acts like a father. So pitriyate. So bandhu pitriyate. So my brother acts like a father. Pitriyate. Now raja iva acharati. If we take that one, we get rajan plus su plus kyang. So here same sutram, which is the 3-1-3-1-11. So always remember which sutram you're applying to get the pratyaya. This is a Panini's system, right? He puts the pratyaya in place by chapters 3, 4, 5, and then go to the Angasya Dikaraha or the Sandhi Niyamaha to finish up the form. So Katurkyang Salopascha. Again, so far we have not seen a Sakaranta Pradipadikam, Sakarantam Angam. So we don't have to worry about Salopascha right now. So Rajan, again, Dhatu Sanya, Sanadyanta Dhatavaha. Supo dhatu pradipadikayoho rajan kyang anubandha lope rajan ya. And then here what happens is that rajan gets the padasanya by pratyaya lope pratyaya lakshanam sukting antam padam. Pratyaya lope pratyaya lakshanam sukting antam padam. Here, because even though we did the supo dhatu pradipadikayoho supluk, we are only getting the angasanya based on the su. So even though nalumata angasya, we stop the anga karyam based on the su, will not stop the padasanya which is coming by suktingantam padam. So one more time, pratyaya su took the look elision by supo dhatu pradvadikayoho. That will only stop any anga karyam, any anga vidhi which is based on the supratyaya, but it will not stop the padasanya. It's only a sanya by supratyaya vipratyaya lakshanam suktingantam padam. Now one more thing is that we saw this 1-4-15, which is the Niyama Sutram for Suktingantam Padam. It says what? Nashkye Shiva Nakarantam, followed by the Pratyaya Kya, includes Kyang and Kyach, both of them. In that case, only Nakarantasya Padasanya Bhavati Nanyasya. So 1-4-15 also we have seen. 1-4-15. If you can look at here itself in our document here, 1-4-15, we saw 1-4-15. So it says kyachi kyangi cha nantam eva padam nanyat, which is fine because right now we have Pratipadikam Rajan. Got Rajan. So that Rajan, so Padasanya tasya nishedha nasti. Because we have an Nakaranta Pratipadikam, so this Niyama Sutram cannot stop the Padasanya right now because we have the Nakaranta Pratipadikam Rajan. So, okay, so we get the Padasanya. Then of course once we get that, then we can use the no lopaha Pratipadikkantasya. So we get Raja plus ya. And then finally, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong place. This is Kyach. Give me 1 second. I'm in the wrong place. Okay. It's become a long document now to go around. Okay. Because you use Rajan a few times. Okay, we're in the right place now. Okay, Rajan plus Kyang. Now we get the Padasanya and now get Nalopa Pratipadikkantasya and then become Rajayate. Because what happens is that once you get the Nakar Lopaha, that Nakar Lopa is done by 827. This is in the Tripadhikarya. But so Purvatara Siddham, that Nakar Lopa should be Asiddha in the eyes of Akrit Sarvadhataka Yoho Dirgha. But then 822, which you have seen many times in the daily examples. If you want to practice 822, look at the website and just search for 822. It's a Niyama Sutram for the Purvatara Siddham. You recognize 821, of course. 822 says Na Lopaha Sup Swara Sanya Tuk Vidishu Kriti. So Nakar Lopaha done by 827. Na Lopa of Pratipadikkantasya. That will be Asiddha only in these cases. Sup Swara Sanya Tuk Vidishu Kriti. With the Sup Vidhi is to be done, Swara Vidhi, that's in the Vedic only, Sanya is to be given, or Tuk Agamaha, Krut Pratyaya is coming. Right now we are doing only the Dirgha Vidhanam. So only Angakaram is to be done, only the Dirgha Vidhanam. So we are not doing any Sup Vidhi, Swara Vidhi, Sanya Vidhi, there is no Tuk Agamaha. So that Nakar Lopaha done by Nalopa of Pratipadikkantasya becomes Siddha in the eyes of 7425, because normally by Purvatara Siddham, any Karyam done in the Tripadi section cannot be seen by any of the rules prior to that rule. So when we come to 7425, which of course is Sapada Saptadhyayi, that requires the Ajantam Angam. If it cannot see Nakar Lopa by 827, it will not see Ajantam Angam, it will see a Nakarantam Angam. It cannot apply. Because Dirgha means yes, we Achaha. Only Ach can take Dirgha. So we have to somehow make the Nakar Lopaha done by 827 Siddha in the eyes of 87425. It becomes Siddha by the Sutram 822, which is Nalopaha Supsa Sanya Tugvidishu Kriti. So then we can use the Akrit Sarvadhatko Dirgha become Rajaya, so Rajayate. So someone behaves like a king, Rajayate. Once you get Rajaya, then you can follow the same steps as before to get Rajayate. Now let's consider a Pratipadikam ending in a Sakaraha. Because we have been talking about this Sakar Lopaha, about the Vyavasthita Vibhasha, because it says Santasya tu Kartruvajakasya Lopo Vasyat. And Santasya Lopastu Kyang Sanniyoga Shishtaha. See, these are the words of Siddhanta Kaumudi. So keep on repeating them, get some confidence. So make a connection with Siddhanta Kaumudi. Make a connection with that. Once you make a connection, slowly, of course, some part will be difficult for you right now, it's okay. But make some connection. If you can read and follow Siddhanta Kaumudi, you don't need any class. You don't need any class, because you can just directly connect with the Kaumudi, with Bhattu Dikshita. So then you are all set. So simple, straightforward. Santasya lopastu kyang sanniyoga shishtaha. Again, I said to you that Bhattuji has made a great effort to keep the Kaumudi accessible. It's not like Mahabhashyam. So Kaumudi accessible to us. It is short, sweet, and straightforward. So kyang sanniyoga shishtaha. It's only come in kyang pratyaya. Come, but it's such a vivasthitaha. Vyavasthita vibhasha. It says Ojaso Psaraso Nityam Itaresham Vibhashaya. Right now we have the Pratipadikam Vidvas. Vidvas. Pratyak vasu has been used to form vidvas. So vidvan iva acharati vidvayate. So vidvan iva acharati vidvayate. So now actually here what has been used is that this is, I think it is 7:130. Videhe Shatru Vasur. So Vidvas, one who's knowing. So Shatru Pratyaya takes the Vasa Adesha. It becomes Vidvas. So Vidvan is the same as Janan, one who's knowing. So knowing one. So this is not the Pratyaya Kwasu. It's actually Shatru Pratyaya taking the Vasu Adesha. So anyway, so Pranipati is Vidvas. This Vidvas has been seen in daily examples many times. If you want to practice how Vidvas became Vidwan, we won't do in this class. Look at the website. You can just search for the word Vidwan. You'll be able to follow all of the examples because the Pratyaya, Shatru and Vasu, they have the Ugit, Vidicham Savanama Sthani Dhatoho. You get the Nummagamaha. Then after that you get the Santamhatas Sanyogasya. You get the Upadadhirgha become Vidvans, etc. You get the Suptingantam Padam, the Sanyugantasya Lopa and all that. So practice that Vidvans. Okay. So now finally we get the form Vidvan. Vidvan iva acharati vidvayate. So Pratipading is Vidvas plus Su plus Kyang, same steps. You get the Dhatu Sanya, Sanadyanta Dhatavaha. I hope by this time you're sick of hearing this Sanadyanta Dhatavaha. You should be. Because you must have heard it at least more than 100 times already. Sanadyanta Dhatavaha. The moment you apply Sutram from 8315 to 3131, immediately Sanadyanta Dhatavaha. And then one moment you do that, you can think about this. You should be also sick of hearing this Sutram also, which is the Supo Dhatu Pratipadika Yoho. I told you many classes back. The first time you use, I told you that you will hear this 1,000 times, at least 1,000 times, because Supo Dhatu Pratipadika Yoho. So in Dhatu or Pratipadika, of course, if you hear it more times, when you have Samasa Prakaranam, the Samasa gets Sanya Pratipadikam by Krutata Samasascha, but here we have a Dhatu, because these Sanadyanta Dhatavaha, and you get same thing, Supluk instead of Dhatu, so Su is gone. After that we got Vidvas Anubandha Lopaha, Vidvasya, then Vidva, so here it comes now, Salopascha, Sakar Lopaha, become, because Ojaso Apsaraso Nityam Itaresham Vibhashaya. We don't have either Ojas or Apsaras, it will be Vibhasha here. So Sakar Lopa Pakshe. When the Sakar Lopa Paksha is there, when we do Sakar Lopa, we become Vidvaya. And then, of course, we'll get the Akris Saratako Dirgaha, Vidvayate. So Vidvaniva Acharati, Vidvayate. Someone acts like he knows, like he's a knowing one. Vidvaniva Acharati, Vidvayate. Now, when you don't do Sakar Lopa, because Itaresham Vibhashaya, only for Ojas and Apsaras, it is Nitya Lopaha. So Itaresham Vibhashaya. So then we get Vidvasyate. So Vidvaniva Acharati, Vidvayate, Atva Vidvasyate. Vidvansaha Jananti. The Vidvans know this concept. So if you have the Vidvayate, Sakar Lopa Pakshe, and Vidvasyate, Sakar Loka Bhava Pakshe, Sakar Lopa Bhava Pakshe, Sakar Lopa Bhava Pakshe, Sakar Lopa Bhava Pakshe. Sakar Lopa Bhava Pakshe, you'll have the Vidvasyate, Sakar Lopa Pakshe, Vidvayate will be the two form, because Sakar Lopa is when the Pratyak Kyang is used by 3111, it is optional for anything except Apsaras or Ojas. But if you have Apsaras now, Apsaraha iva acharati. So Nari, some lady behaves like she's an Apsara. She behaves like she's an Apsara. Apsaraha iva acharati. Again, Apsaras Pratipadikam. Apsaraha it becomes, again, because of Sakar and the Pratipadikam ending in Atvasantasya Chadhatoho. Again, this is not the topic of this class, but if you want to practice how Apsaras became Apsaraha, Atvasantasya Chadhatoho, the sutram here to the Upada Dirgha, you can go on the website and put 6414. You can practice Atvas, the same sutram material like Bhagavad becomes Bhagavan, same thing, Apsaras, Upada Dirgha. So Atvasantasya Chadhatoho. So, Apsaraha iva acharati, Apsarayate. Only one form here. Apsaraha iva acharati, apsara iva acharati. We get nitya sakar lopaha, we get apsarayate. So in apsaras and ojas, we can go to only one form, apsarayate. Now that's we are in the book now. On this word over here is the kyang. Let's follow what the book has given. The resulting verb is conjugated in the atmane padam because of the 1-3-12 anudattanyita atmane padam. Pratyakyang has a kavarga panchama as a nit. The final akara, ikara, ukara ajantasya angasya dirgha bhavati because of the akris sarvatakayoh dirgha. We already saw that. So taruna ivachara taruna, taruna ivachari tarunayate, sakha ivacharati sakhiyate. Then ring ritaha 7427 for rukarantamangam. It takes the ringa desha nicha. So pita ivacharati, pite ivacharati pitriyate. We already saw that. Now when we get the an at the end, then we also rajayate. We saw that because we saw the nakar lopaha because of no lopa pralibadikantasya, because we get pratyalopa pratyalakshanam suptingantam padam padasanya padiyangam, and then we get no lopa pralibadikantasya, and then after that because of the niyama sutram no lopaha supsasanya tugudishukriti, that nakar lopa becomes siddha. We get rajayate by using akris sarvatakayoh dirgha. We did all this just now. Again, no 7433 because that's only kyachicha. That 7433, which is we saw the ikara deshaha. So that is only by kyachi. Right now we have pratyakyang. So there's no 7433. Then stems in us, sakaranta should say, optionally lose their sakaraha and lengthen the akara is again by the same sutram 7425 akris sarvadatkoyo dirgha. But apsaras and ojas does so necessarily. That is the vyavasthita vibhasha. Vidvan iva acharati vidvayati athva vidvasyate. Parantu apsaraha iva acharati apsara iva acharati apsarayate ekam eva rupam. Because ojasaha apsarascha nityam sakar lopaha. She acts like a apsara. Okay, so this part we finished. Now the last part is that feminine stems not ending in ka become pumvad. Become pumvad. This is Vasu's famous topic, pumvad. Pumvad bhavaha. So in the last Thursday class we had a good discussion of pumvad bhavaha. So anyway,
I'm eternally intrigued by pumvad bhava.
So even though he's a puma, so 6-3-30. Okay, let's look at his sutram 6-3. We are going to look at sutram in detail. When we do Bahuvari compounds, we will be immersed in Pumvad Bhava again. So we'll leave it for that time. Today we don't need to go that deep in Pumvad Bhava. Pumvad Bhava means that some adjective becomes masculine like Gita example, my favorite one is Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya. So Sthita Prajna yasya saha. The Sthita Prajna becomes Sthita Prajnasya, not Sthita Prajna. That Pura Padam took Pumvad Bhava. It became masculine like. Masculine. So the adjective became masculine like. So when we do Bahuvari compounds, we'll have a lot of fun with this sutram. Striyaha pumvad bhashita pumsakadanu samanadhikarane striyama purani priyadishu. In the Thursday class we had this apriyadishu because Kalidasa was messing with this apriyadishu. We talk in Thursday class. Anyway, let's leave that for time being. So right now we need only two things over here, which is kyang maninoshcha and na kopadhayaha. These two sutras. So it's going to get the pumvad bhavaha. When the pratyakyang follows, when that no, then the nishedha is going to come. Nishedha is going to come with no kopadhayaha. Kakar upadha, if we have them with this is, when you see the no in a sutram, it is nishedha sutram. It is nishedha for something. So pumvad bhavo na bhavati. If you have the kakar as an upadha, then there is no pumvad bhavaha. Let's look at the vritti of these two. So one more time, pumvad bhavaha means that a feminine term is going to become masculine like. So if it's clearly it's a Trilingi Shabdaha, it can go in three genders, then its feminine form will be removed, it will take the masculine form, And it starts with this Sutram 6334, which is used mainly in Bahuvri compounds. If we have a Karmadharya compound, we use 6342, which we have already seen. Pumvat Karmadharya Jatiya Deshiyeshu. We have already seen that Sutram. Karmadharya compound is much less complicated. We don't have to worry about this Apurani Priyad issue and all that. We don't have to worry about any of that. So Karmadharya compound straightforward, Pumvat. And then, but now we are talking about this Kyang. We have Pratya Kyang. Kyang Maninoscha. Kyang Maninoscha. I'm sorry. Kyang Maninoscha. So we don't have Manin right now. We can forget about the Manin right now. So just talk about the Kyang. So we get Pumvat Bhavaha. But then Nishedha for Kopadhayaha. This is what the book is talking about here. Feminine stem is not ending in Ka, because when the Upadha Kakara is not there, we take Pumvat Bhavaha. So Harini Yava Acharati Harinayate. Even though you're behaving like a female deer, the form is only Harinayate. Harina, because Harini becomes Harina. So Pumvat Bhavaha. But Balika Yava Acharati Balikayate. Doesn't become Balakayate. So Balikayate it becomes. So Balikayate. So it retains the feminine form. So look at this sutram, which is that Kyang Maninoscha, Etayoho Parataha Pumvat. So when Kyang or Manin follows, let's not be able to Manin for the time being. So when Kyang follows, then Parataha, when that follows, then the prior term becomes Pumvat. We're not in the Angasyadikara right now. We're not in the Angasyadikara 6336. We cannot say Angam as such. Anyway, when the Pratya Kyang is following, the prior is the Angam anyway. So anyway, the prior term becomes Pumvat. So Harini Yava Acharati Harinayate. We only take Harina and then goes the same prakriya like Tarunayate. Same thing becomes Harinayate. So Harini becomes Harina. So when the Kyang Pratya, so bottom line is that, simple thing is that when the Pratya Kyang follows, you get Pumvat Bhavaha. Pumvat Bhavaha. But that Pumvat Bhavaha always has some complications. It's na Kopadhayaha. Is that Kopadhayaha Striyaha na Pumvat. So if you have Silinga Shabdaha, which has Kaka as an Upadha, the Ka as an as an Upadha, Alontyat Pura Upadha. The penultimate letter is Kakaraha. In that case, the Pumvat Bhava is stopped. So it says Balika Iva Acharati Balikayat. Again, not all Pumvat Bhava. So let's try to focus only on 6336. So Kopadhayaha, because this Pumvat Bhava is complicated. So right now we only think about these two sutras. So for us right now, when the Kyang Pratya follows, Pumvat Bhava takes place, but not when the Upadha is Kakaraha of the Silinga Shabdaha. So Balikaya Acharati will still become Balikayate only. Not Balakayate, but Balikayate. That's what's given in. So these are now coming in the 6336. Normally the Adhikara in 6.3 is Uttarapade. Uttarapade. We are talking in the beginning when we started Samasa, so we talked about these two Adhikaras. One is of course, Samasantaha. Samasantaha is coming in 864, 854, 68. And then we talked about the Uttarapade. So what happens to the Pura Padam in the Samasa is 631. But what happens is that in that 631, as I mentioned to you, there's a Pumvat Bhava coming in Samasas. So right there, Panini also sticks in this Kyang Pratyaha and Manin. So this is not a Samasa. We're not talking about Samasa, but the Pumvat Bhava Anuvritti, the Prakaranam was already running over there, already available to Panini. So in that he stuck this Kyang and Manin in between there. So normally when we talk about 6.3, we're talking about something happening to the Pura Padam in a Samasaha. Which is yes.
Here there is no vritti issue. There is no, it's not any vritti
matre.
Yeah, there is no vritti category.
Vritti matre is only that, Sarvanamnaha vritti matre only, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm asking in this prayoga here,
Namadata. Vritti also. If you look at vritti again, what is vritti? Look at your favorite book. Let's see what vritti is. I think there are 5 kinds of vrittis, what's defined as vritti. And one of them is sanadyanta dhatavaha. So says that, Siddhanta Kaumudi says that, Krit Tadhita Samasa Ekadesha Dhatu Rupaha Panchavrittayaha. So this Panchavritti. Vritti we have, but then you know that Pumvad Bhava Vritti, which is a favorite Vartikam of Vasu, is only for Sarvanamna. Pumvad Bhava. So Vritti we have, but you cannot get Pumvad Bhava just on that, you know. So that's only for Sarvanamna. Anyway, so right now we need to use this sutra for Kyang. So we get Harinayate but Balikayate because Kakar Upadha is there. Okay. So now on the next page, let's look at the next page now. Next page, there are a few things here. And most of these we are going to use 3, 1, 16, 17, 18. But to get this one single form, Dhumayate, we have to go through the next 15-20 minutes for just for Dhumayate. But you'll have some fun with Dhumayate. Because the others are a different meaning, you know. Different meaning. This Dhumayate, this you changed this book by the way, Dhumayate. Is something which was not smoky has become smoky. Something smoky, not smoky became smoky. Dhumayate. Not he sends out smoke. I think we need to change this. This meaning is not, because these things like, you know, Bashpayate, Phenayate, Ushmayate, these are fine. He sheds tears. We will look at all this in coming soon now. So these are fine. But this is not the same. He doesn't send out smoke. Something smoky, something non-smoky became smoky. Okay, so let's now enter the next 2-3 sutras here. So again, mainly we'll be using 3, 1, 16, 17, 18. They're kind of straightforward. But for this Dhumayate, we have to go around and also look at the 3, 1, 13, 12 and 13. We'll look at 3, 1, 12 and 13. 3, 1, 12 and 13. So 16, 17, 18 are straightforward. Bashposhmabhyam udvamane. Ushman. So Bashpa and Ushman. So Bashmoshmabhyam. Bashposhmabhyam udvamane. When someone emits, vamanam is to vomit. Udvamane is like to throw out, to throw up, to emit, to tears, to shed tears. Or Ushman, I think, is heat or vapor. Ushmabhyam. So I think in the book is that he emits heat. So Ushman Pradipati. Let's see what Apte says for Ushman. I think it can mean vapor also, I think. Ushman Pradipadikam. Let's just check Ushman. So that will be by, 3, 1, 16. 3, 1, 16, 17 we'll use that. So let's check Ushman. Ushmayate. Ushman. Okay. Ushman can mean heat, warmth. Okay, not vapor. Okay. So heat, warmth, hot season, anger. Okay, so not vapor. Okay, Ushman. Heat. Now, okay, let's start from here. Now, let's start with 3, 1, 12. Again, 3, 1, 12 and 13 we need for Dhumayate. It's not that he emits smoke, because that emitting is only coming after the Bashpa, Bashmoshmabhyam, Ushman. Okay, not coming after this Dhuma. Dhuma is not there. There's a Vartikam on that 3, 1, 16. Also give Phena. So Bashpa, Ushman and Phena. Someone emits foam. Someone is frothing. So Phenayate, Bashpayate. So these are coming, but not Dhumayate. Dhumayate is not given in that. Okay, so now what is this Dhumayate? Let's start from 3, 1, 12. Okay, so Bhrishadibhyo Bhuvi Bhuvyachver Lopascha Halaha. So Bhrishad is a Ganaha. Bhrisham is intensely, intensely, or so Bhrisham Tadayati means to hit really hard. Someone hits really hard. Bhrisham Tadayati. So means so Bhrishad. So anyway, Bhrishad is a Ganaha. Bhrishadibhyo Bhuvyachver. So Bhuvi, sense of Bhuvi. Achvehe. It should not be Chvi there. So Achvehe. What is Chvi? We're going to see very shortly this Pratyaya Chvi. It's coming in the, so hold on to Chvi because we're going to see in great detail, maybe not today, maybe next class, but the Pratyaya Chvi is going to be covered in great detail in this next 196. So Achvehe you'll understand better when you get to Pratyaya Chvi. Anyway, this sutram cannot be used if chvi is there. So achvehe lopascha halaha. Vritti abhuta tadbhava vishayebhyo rushadibhyo bhavatyarthe khyang syat anantanam esham lopascha. So this lopascha hala is straightforward. If any word in the bhrishadi ganaha is a halanta shabdaha, that ending hal will drop. Halantanam esham, bhrishadinam esham lopascha. Pratyaya is kyang. So let's take it one step at a time. Pratyaya is kyang. And if the prakriti is the angam is halantam, then lopaha. So the hal will take lopa. Okay. Then bhavatyarthe, something becomes. So bhuvi bhavatyarthe. Now how did they get this thing of abhuta tadbhava vishayebhya? Abhuta tadbhava means something which was not that is becoming that. Something which was not that is becoming that. Now how did we get that part of it? Let's follow this. So abhuta tadbhava vishayebhyo bhavatyarthe. So when that prakriti says that which was not that is becoming that, then such a shabda bhrishadi will take the pratyaya kyang. Okay. Now abhrusho bhavati bhrishayate. Something becomes intense. Let's look at uptake when bhrishayate. Intense or like extreme or intense. Let's see what uptake is for bhrisha. Okay, bhrishayate. Okay, bhrisha. Strong, powerful, mighty, intense, excessive, very much. Okay, bhrisha. So abhrusho bhrisha bhavati. Something which was not intense becomes intense. So bhrishayate. Of course, once we take bhrisha plus su, I mean this take tarunayate, same steps, and the prakriya is not different. When we have the pratyaya kyang, same steps, you get the akrit sarvatakayoho dirgha 7-4-25. So abhrusho bhrusha bhavati bhrusha. Something which was not intense becomes intense. But how did we get this meaning? Abhuta tadbhava vishayebhya. So then Siddhanta Kaumudi says is that achveriti paryudasa balad abhuta tadbhavaha. Okay. Achvehe means that not after chvi. That means that if it is similar to chvi but not chvi. So we talk about these two kinds of paryudasa pratishedha and the prasajya pratishedha. The two kinds of pratishedha. We have seen this, I think, in the class sometime before. Let me again read you what these two things mean. Let's not spend, if you're going to look at the details, and I'm reading you from the dictionary of Sanskrit grammar. What is paryudasa? Paryudasa pratishedha. Paryudasa, let's say a simple example, abrahmanam anaya. Bring me somebody who's not a brahmana. That means you cannot bring it like a dog or a stone. So brahmana sadrisham, parantu brahmana bhinnam anaya. Means naram anaya. So bring me a man who's not a brahmana. So this paryudasa pratishedha means that the pratishedha is being done, but you have to have something similar to that one which was negated. Paryudasa. So when it says achvehe, means chvi should not be something similar to chvi. The meaning in which chvi comes. Same meaning, but not the pratyaya chvi itself. So it says achvehe iti paryudasa balad abhuta tadbhava. The pratyaya chvi, which we see in the next class. So so hold on to chi for the time being. We'll see in today or the next class in detail. This pratyaya chvi is prescribed in the sense of abhuta tadbhave. So that pratyaya chvi which we'll see later on is in the sense of something which is not that become, like spashti bhavati, krishni bhavati. So something which was not black is now becoming black, and so on. So abhuta tadbhave is the meaning which is attached in the pratyaya chvi comes there. Now in this sutram Panini is saying achvehe, which is paryudasa pratishedha, which means that like a brahmana manaya, means don't bring a brahmana, means you cannot bring a dog or a stone. You have to bring something similar to him. So brahmana bhinnam, brahmana sadrisham, naramanaya. So same thing here. This chvi should not be there. Correct, that's true. This chvi pratyaya should not be there, but there should be in the similar meaning as chvi. So that's how we get abhuta tadbhave is being taken from 5450 on basis of this puridasa pratishedha achvehe. Now, so there's two kinds of pratishedhas called paryudasa, and paryudasa is done mostly using compounds. Naitat purusha is the nai pratyaya which we have seen. Most of the time we see the nai pratyaya being used, not all the time. Sometimes Ashtadhyayi Panini has done the other way around. But anyway, we leave that. But most of the time, when you see this negation compound, naitat purushaha, that will point you to a. On the other hand, if you say, like nindana karya, don't criticize. Doesn't mean you do something similar to criticizing. No, that just means that don't criticize anybody. That's a prasajya pratishedha. The entire thing gets negated. Don't criticize means that's it. Doesn't mean you do something similar to criticizing. Something similar to that. That's not the meaning. When the na is used separately, it means prasajya pratishedha. It's complete negation of the whole action is negated. That's different between paryudasaha and prasajya pratishedha. This comes in a lot of places. And the simplest way to look at it is that to have naitat purushaha, most of the time it will be a paryudasa pratishedha. Means something different from that, but similar to that. When we use the na shabda separately, make a complete negation, then that just means don't do this. Don't do this. Don't, so you don't say. So, okay, let me read it out to you, and you can, if you're interested, you can look at for the details. So, paryudasaha. Okay, exclusion. Negation with the view to exclude. So it says that one of the two senses of paryudasa and pratishedha, prasajya pratishedha, paryudasa pratishedha. The negative particle nai, it says achvehe. Generally found in cases when the particle nai is compounded with a noun and not used independently with a verbal form, like abrahmanam, anachicha, anapumsakat, and so on. So that means that, so this is called paryudasaha. Use a naitat purusha with that, and that means that you negate that aspect, but retain a similarity to that aspect. Retain a similarity to it, not completely negating the whole thing. Okay, prasajya pratishedha, which is not what we have now, but that's the other kind of prasajya. Prasajya pratishedha. And prasajya says that prohibition of the possible application of a rule generally laid down by the use of negative particle na. Ninda na karya. Don't criticize. Doesn't mean you do something similar to criticizing. Means don't criticize at all. At all. Nothing is to be done. The entire thing is negated. The whole action is negated completely. Like for example, we just saw that, didn't we? We just saw it right now. We saw that. All these Tishe Sutrani, when we see, for example, we just saw this now, the 6.3 we just saw, right? 6.3. We just saw that. 6.3.30, yeah. Na kopadhayaha. Means this pumvad bhava does not come when you put kakar. That's all. It doesn't mean you do something similar to pumvad bhava, do something, nothing. When na is used, means the whole thing is negated. Stop. The entire action is stopped. So me says pumvad bhava na bhavati. Finished. Pumvad bhava is completely stopped. Doesn't mean you have to look for something similar to pumvad bhava. That's sadrisham na bhavati. It's completely stopped. When you say abrahmanamanaya, means yes, you still have to bring somebody who's similar to him, but not him. That's what it means. Okay, so prasajya pratishedha means this is a very important concept. I'm sorry to spend time in the class, but you see this quoted many times. This is so try to keep it back of your mind. Paryudasaha and prasajya pratishedha. Paryudasa pratishedha. Paryudasaha normally involves a nyantat purusha compound. It means tad bhinnam but tat sadrisham. We say prasajya pratishedha normally is the na shabda used separately outside. Means the entire thing gets negated, the entire action gets negated, there is nothing similar to being retained. So it says prasajya pratishedha, prohibition of the possible application of a rule generally laid down by a use of a negative particle na together with the verbal activity. Well, actually, na karya, don't do it, don't do this, don't do means completely stop. You say abrahmanam anaya, the action of bringing is not being negated. You have to still bring somebody. We see Abrahmanam Anaya, not connecting with the verb. It's connecting with only the Brahmana only. So you still have to bring somebody else similar to him. So the verbal the activity is not negated of bringing. Only thing is that you have to exclude that one noun from the action of bringing. But when you say, nindana karya means don't do criticism. The entire action of criticism is negated. Nothing is being done. Okay. So this is the important concept. Paryudasaha. Paryudasa pratishedha. Remember the example. Which is Abrahmana manaya. So here what is saying is that, and the reason we need all of this right now in the sutram is that achvehe we have. Achvehe. So that means that it has to be, the meaning has to be similar to the meaning used for chvi. And the chvi is going to, we're going to see later on today or in the next class, comes in the sense of abhuta tadbhave. Abhuta tadbhave means something which was not that becomes that, transforms to that. Something which was not intense has now become intense. So bhrishayate. Abhrusho bhrishavoti bhrishayate. Now, why do we need all of this right now? We don't have bhrishayate right now. We have dhumayate. But that's what I said. We have to go to this sutram to get to the next sutram, and we have to come back to it. So just give me 5 minutes. You understand why we need sutram? Because right now we're trying to get to the form dhumayate. We don't need this sutram right now at all. We're not talking about the tadbhava. Well, we are talking about that. Yes, we are talking about that. We're talking about this one, which is the. I'm sorry, we do need that because we are saying that something which was not smoky became smoky. We are talking about dhumayate. Yes, true. We do need this. But there's still something more here. Okay, so let's keep it right now. Abhrusho bhrishabhoti bhrishayate. You take bhrisha, and then you can add the pratyaya, the kyang pratyaya. Let's say tarunayate bhrishayate, same thing. Okay, so what does Siddhanta Kaumudi say is that achvehe iti paryudasa balat. On the strength of having a Puridasa Pratishedha in Achvehe, Abhutatadbhava iti labdham. So we get this meaning of Abhutatadbhava by using the Puridasa Pratishedha on Achvehe. Okay. And based on this, Abhutatadbhava in 5450, which we see later on. Okay. Now comes the next sutram. Lohitadi dajbhya kyash. Okay. Lohitadi, another gana. Now the pratyaya is being kyash. Not the pratyaya kyang, because here pratyaya was kyang. Remember, when we add kyang, we get the 1, 3, we just saw that in Tarunayate, etc. We have to use 1, 3, 12. Anudattagnyata atmanepadam. Anudattagnyata atmanepadam 1, 3, 12. When we add the pratyaya kyash, we don't get anudattagnyata atmanepadam. So this is different between these two pratyayas. That's one of the main differences. The kyang will always take atmanepadam only. The kyash will not. So what is Sutram saying now? Lohitadi dajbhyaha kyash. We'll leave for time. We don't forget about the pratyaya daj. We'll leave it for time being. Say lohitadibhyo dajantacha. We don't need this for today. We'll leave this for time being. Bhavatyarthe kyash syat. Okay. Now. Again, same thing here. Atra achveriti anuvritya. Anuvritya of achve is coming down from the prior sutra. So same logic there. We get the same meaning. Abhuta tadbhava artha, we get the same meaning here. Something which is not that, so lohita I think is red. Something which is not red is becoming red. Okay? But now we have sutram 1390. Vakyashaha. Vakyashaha. Look at the number. Look at the number. Sutram Sheshat Kartali Prasyapadam is 1378. This is 1390. Vakyashaha. So Kyashantat, because remember, when you have the Pratyakyash, we're going to get the Dhatu Sanya for the Samudaya by Sanadyanta Dhatavaha. So if you have Kyashanta Dhatu, Tasmat Prasyapadam Vasyat. That is Prasyapadam option. Now you know the difference between Kyang and Kyash. One difference is that this when the kyashanta dhatoho prasyapadam vasyat kyanganta dhatoho to nityam atmanepadam eva anudattagnyata atmanepadam iti etayor pratyayoho bhedha. Difference between these two pratyas is that when you add the pratyaya kyang, you can only get one form bhrishayate because of the anudattagnyata atmanepadam. When you add the pratyaya kyash by vakyashaha, Kyashaha. Kyashantat parasyapadam vasyat. Means option pakshe atmanepadam. So you get atmanepadam. So you get lohitayati, lohitayate. Rest of this prakriya is the same. You get the same step with dekta runayate. But here, because of vakyashaha, you get the lohitayati and lohitayate. So now if a word is the lohitadi ganaha, become lohitayati, lohitayate. If the bhrishadi ganaha, only become bhrishayate. Both of these are coming the same meaning of abhutatadbhavarthe. Because achvehe, iti anuvritya, abhutatadbhava vishyatam labdam. Okay, now what about our dhuma? Where is dhuma in all of this? We have to find out where the smoke is now. Where is the smoke in all of this? Because we need to go only to this word dhumayate. Dhumayate. Okay. Now let's continue. Now there is a complication here. Is that tachya lohita shabdasyaiva visheshanam natu dacho asambhava. Okay, that's fine. Which is that this will only come for the lohita shabda. This abhutatadbhavaha only come for the lohita shabdaha, not for the dach. And we don't have to worry about dach right now. We'll leave sometime. That's fine. Because we're not talking about dach right now. This one we don't need right now. But napi adi shabda grahyanam. Okay. I mean, this is complicated. I'm sorry. It's complicated, but we have to go through this to get that one form. Now, the sutram says lohita adi, lohita, etc. words. But the Katyana says no. Katyana comes and says no. Only the word lohita. No etc. Na api adi grahana grahyanam. Siddhanta Kaumudi. Is that adi shabda grahyam means by the etc. Some people with etc. that will not take the pratyakyash. So it says tasya pratyakyanat. So it says that is being refuted in the Mahabhashyam. It has been refuted. So this is tathacha vartikam. There is a vartikam here. Lohita daj bhyakyashvachanam. Only the word lohita, not the adi. Only lohita. Lohita daj bhyakyash, not lohita adi. Lohita daj bhyakyashvachanam. This is the vartikam. Bhrushadishu itarani iti. The remaining will go in the bhrushadi. They will only become bhrushayate, not lohitayati, lohitayate. So it's vakyashaha. This will not apply within the lohita adi gana. They will only tell pratyakyam. So Katyana intervenes and he says, lohita daj bhyakyashvachanam. Bhrushadishu itarani iti. Remaining will go to bhrushadi ganaha. Alright, so now we are getting somewhere. But where is dhuma? Where is the word dhuma? But then he comes to the ganapatha now, to where the word dhuma is listed in. Now the problem is that in the ganapatha, see ganapatha, there is this famous work by this called Ganaratna Mahodadhi. Ganaratna Mahodadhi. Ganaratna Mahodadhi. The great ocean of the pearls of Ganas. Ganaratna Mahodadhi. And there the Acharya is Vardhamana Acharya. So he lists all these ganas, there. And there he lists the Lohita Adi Gana. Lohita Shyama Dukkhani, Harsha Garva Sukhani Cha, Murcha Nidra Krupa Dhumaha, Karuna Nitya Charmani. This is all he lists the Lohita Adi Gana. This is the Ganapatha now. So he's grouping all this together. Lohita, Shyama, Dukkha, Harsha, Garva, Sukha, Murcha, which to swoon, Nidra, Krupa, Dhuma, Karuna, Nitya, Charmani, Charman. Now, iti patitva, Shyamadibhyo api kyashi, Padadvayam udaharanti, Tad bhashya vartika viruddham. In the Ganapatha, even though we see this Padadvayam, these two lines here, which talk about Vinapatya Kyash after the Lohita Adi Ganaha. But so Shamadibhyo pi Kyashi Padadvayam udaharanti. So this Ganapatha is giving us these all Shamadis also can take Kyash. This Tad bhashya vartika viruddham. So no, Shyamadi cannot take Kyash. He'll only take the Pratyakyam, because Vartikakara told us that Lohita Shabdat eva Kyashvachanam Bhrushadishu Itarani iti. So even though in the Ganapatha we find this Shyamu, this is one thing with Ganapatha, again we don't spend too much time in the class, because Ganapatha requires some shodhanam. Apekshate. Bhusham apekshate. It really needs some editing. I don't know if it's ever going to happen in today's day and world now, but the Ganapatha has become antique. It doesn't have validity in today's day and world. In many places, Ganapata has words which are repeated, which are dropped, which don't make any sense anymore. Nobody can find any examples of them. So Ganapata is really getting out of use, So if you can have some scholars to edit Ganapata, it's a very difficult job because you have to really know all these words in all the context, in the Bhashayam and in the Vedic also. It's a difficult job, but if somebody can edit the Ganapata, it will be very, very useful. But so Ganapata is like this. It is not, it has a lot of issues. This is one of them, is that Lohita Shyama Dukkhani Harsha Garva Sukhani Cha Mucha Nidra Kripa Dhumaha Karuna Nitya Charmani Iti Patitva Shyamadibhyopi Kyashi Padadvayam Udaharanti Tad Bhashya Vartika Viruddham. So basically only Lohita will take Kyash, others will not. Tasmat Tebhya Kyangeva, only take Kyang. So even though these words Shyamadi are given in the Ganapata as a Lohita Adi Ganaha, we have to put them in the Bhushadi Ganaha. Don't take them over here, Kyangeva. So now Shyamayate, not Shyamayati, because Pratya Kyang will only take 1, 3, 12, Anudattamita Atmanepadam. We cannot use this Vakyashaha. So Atra Pras Atmanepadam Eva Bhavati. Vibhashya Prasapadam Na Bhavati. So not take Prasapadam. So something which was not grey, not dark, transform to dark. Okay, see, we have still one more problem to deal with. We have one more issue over now. Now, what do you mean by dhumayate? Something which wasn't smoke became smoke? I mean, smoke is smoke, How will smoke? Like nidra. Something which was not sleep became sleep? It is not possible. So basically, somebody who was not sleepy became sleepy. So karuna, somebody who was not compassionate became compassionate. So it's one who has that, the nidra or the murcha, or the karuna, or the harsha, or the garva. So all these means that one who has that. Somebody who was not proud became proud. Agarvaha garvo bhavati garvayate. So somebody who was not proud becomes proud. Harshayate. Somebody who was so I should say that. So harshavan, aharshavan, harshavan bhavati. So one who was not happy, he became happy. So this is not that something which was not joy became joy. Somebody who was not joyous became joyous. So then he says dukkhadibhyaha. So dukkhadi, dukkhadi. So shama was fine. So ashyama, so we have that shamayate. But dukkhadibhyaha. So something which was not sorrow became sorrow. No, somebody who was not unhappy became unhappy. Dukkhayate, became unhappy. So it says dukkhadibhya. So starting from here now, so we finished with Lohita. He was fine. Then remaining will not be in the Lohita Adigana, they will be in the Bhusha Adigana. So that was fine. So Shama was fine. Now dukkhadi it is dukkha vritti vishaye, when we in the usage, when you use that, tadvati vartante. Tadvati, one who has that. Tadvat means vatu pratyaha. So adhumavan pradesha, dhumavan bhavati dhumayate. So there was something was smoky, something which had smoke, which was not smoky, became smoky. Dhumayate. So finally we got to dhumayate. Okay. Let's recap one more time. Okay, one more time. So 1:3:1:12. Vrushadibhyo bhuvi means to become that. Bhuvyachver achvehe lopascha halaha. Now because achvehe was the turidasa patishedha, we extract the meaning of abhutatadbhavaha, which we see in detail coming next, so don't worry about it. We're going to see in detail coming next on. To understand what abhutatadbhava basically means, something which is not that transforms to that. So abhutatadbhava vishebhyo bhushadibhyo bhavatyarthe kyang syat halantanam esham lopascha. Halanta is there, we take lopaha. So abhrusha bhavati bhushayate. Something which was not intense became intense. So we saw that. Then we had the lohita adi dajbhya kyash. So lohita adi will take the kyash. Anuvritya of achve is coming down here also. So there also will take the achve iti anuvritya abhutatadbhava vishetvam labdham. Then why do we need to prescribe kyash? Because vakyashaha. Krosyapadam by optionally Krosyapadam. But then we got this whole argument about no, this Katyayana says no, this is you cannot take this Adi over here. So that Lohita Daj Biha Keshvachanam Bhushadishu Itarani. So Katyayana took out the Adi and he put all of those back in the Bhushadi. Now we came to the Ganapatha. Ganapatha gave us these nice 2 lines over here, but the problem is that he clubbed them all together now. Lohita Shama Dukkhani Harshakarva Sukhani Cha Mukshanidra Kripa Dhumaha Karuna Nitya Charmani. So then there is a Vyakhyanam is Iti Patitva Shamadibhyo Pikyashi Padadvim Udaharanti Tad Bhashya Vartika Viruddham. So this is against the Bhashya and Vartikam. So we take out Lohit. Lohit only takes Kyash. Remaining take the Pratyakyam. We got that far. Now the problem is Shama is okay. Ashyamo Shama Bhavati. Something with not dark became like Lohita. It's not red became red. Not dark became dark. But then Dukkha is not like that. You cannot take the meaning of something which was not sorrow became sorrow. Somebody who was not sorry became sorry. So it says that Tasmad Shamadibhya Kyang and then Dukkadibhya Vritti Vishay Tadvati, one who has that Vartante. So finally got the meaning Adhumavan Pradesh, something which was there, Dhumavan Bhavati, because you add the Pratya Vat. You can say Adhumavat Sthanam, Dhumavat Bhavati. Some place which was not smoky became smoky or something. Dhumayate. Again, this is all one whole round to get to Dhumayate. Bottom line is that the Pratyakyang is used here, used in the Bhavatyarthe, also in the sense of Abhuta Tadbhava Vishaye, and is only one form Dhumayate, because even though the Ganapata is Lohita Adi Ganaha, we cannot use that because it's Bhashya Viruddham, so we have to put only the in Vrishadi and use the Pratyakyang, not Kyash. We cannot use the Vakyashaha. Okay, so next, this was a difficult part, was one word. Remaining are kind of straightforward now. So if we look at the book, we got the form Dhumayate. It's not he sends out smoke. That he sends out smoke is only in this, in the Udvamane. That's not the meaning here, because Udvamane is only from Bashposhmabhyam, only with Bashpa and Ushman. We don't have that. And then there's a Vartikam here. So this meaning was not he sends out smoke. Something which was not smoky became smoky. Now 3, 1, 16, 17 kind of straightforward. Let's look at this 16, 17, 18. So there's not many complicated. They're very straightforward meaning. So Bashposhmabhyam Udvamane. Udvamane. Vamanam to vom is to vomit. Same in English, right? Vamanam is to vomit. Udvamanam is like to throw out. So one who throws out smoke, not smoke, tears. So one who basically sheds tears, in English sheds tears, or who, who exhales like heat. Abhyam karmabhyam. So karmabhyam. So this is the object of the throwing out. Kyang syat. So bashpam udvamati bashpayate. So here one thing the point which made of Bhimsen Shastriji is that the anuvritti of supaha is not coming down here. So no need to do the, bashpa plus and kyang. You don't have to do all of that. Even if you did not make any difference, because it says karma bhyam, there's no anuvritti of supaha, so you can just take bashpa plus kyang. You don't have to do bashpa plus plus kyang, then do the supluk by supodharvadika yoga. We can skip that step. So bashpa plus kyang, and we get the dhatu sanya, sanadinta dhatavaha. You know what? We don't need this. I'm sorry. I just did a copy paste. Excuse me. We don't need this. This we don't need right now. We did dhatu sanya. We need that. We don't need to use the other one. So, okay. So bashpa plus kyang by 3, 1, 16, and then bashmosh pabhyam udvamane. Bashmosh. Oh, this is sutram. There's a. This should be joined here. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. I think this sutram. I don't know why the padacheda has been done like that in the sutram. I think our Ashtadhyayi online needs to be edited. Here because it should be Bashmosh Pabhyam Udvamane. Yeah, I'm sorry. The sutram should not be like this really. 1 second. Okay. This should be like this, okay? Okay. Bashmoshpabhyam udvamane. It's not Padachis. We have to edit the online Ashtadhyayi. This one needs to be edited. This one is, I don't know why it's like that. We'll make a correction there. Okay. Anyway, so abhyam karmabhyam kyang syat. So when this is the object of the exhaling or edit or emitting out, then we get bashpa plus kyang. No need to do the supluk over here. So bashmo shpabhyam udvamane. So sending out, shedding out tears. So same thing here. I'm sorry, repeated this step, is it? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, sixth one. Okay, anubandha lopaha ashakvatadite halantyam, and then akrut sarvadhatukayoho dirghaha. Then we get the dhatu sanya sanajanta dhatavaha. Then the same thing, bashpa plus lat anubandha lopaha. Because if pratyaya kyang is a nyit anudata nyata atmanipadam, becomes bashpa. I mean, the rest of this thing is the same, like, the shapratyaha, then atogune, everything is rektaronayate. So becomes bashpayate, but the meaning here is that he sheds out. So these are different meaning. The same pratyaya kyang is coming like in tarunayate, meaning the taruna eva acharati was the meaning over there. But here, bashpam udvamati, he sheds tears, bashpayate, getting teared up in English, right? It's a namadhatu in English, he's tearing up. So bashpayate. Same thing, ushmanam udvamati, ushman prajabadikam, he exhales heat. So ushman prajabadikam, like atmanam ushman. So ushmanam udvamati ushmayate. Only thing here, ushman prajabadikam. So here, okay, we may have a small problem here because we have to use now the suptingantam padam. Okay, then maybe we should use supluk over here. I'm sorry, because I was looking at this one. Anuvritti of supaha doesn't come here, but okay, we may have a problem here because ushman, when we take ushman, we have to get nakar lopaha here by the nalopah prajabadikantasya. That can only come if it's a padanta nakaraha. Padasanya can only come when we get the suptingantam padam. So I'm sorry, I think I need to go back and change this. I was looking at the Bhimsen Shastriji, he says on the Sutram, okay, on 3.117, okay, I will take it back. On 3.117, he says that there is no anuvritti of supaha. Okay, on 3.117, okay, I'll take this back now. So, excuse me for 1 second, because I thought that 3.116 also had a note, so I will take this one back. We'll remove this one now, so because we will need that now, because when we take ushman, we need to get nakar lopaha there. So we'll bring in, because it says karmanaha, so we'll keep this bashpa. I'll double check before next class, but for the time being, we think we need this one. So bashpa plus I mean, if we're not making this example, so we get the and then now we'll use this one. We will go through one more step and make it equal to, we will remove that by getting the dhatu sanya sanadyanta dhatavaha, and then we'll use this supo dhatu pradipatikayoho supluk, remove the remaining shesham samanam, remain is the same, no difference in bashpayate. I'll just remove this one here. You don't need to put this here now. But when we use this ushman, now we need that ushman plus plus the kyang. Now in this case we'll do the same thing. Sanadyanta dhatavaha supo dhatu pradipatikayoho, then pratyay lopi pratyay lakshanam suptingantam padam. So ushman will now get the padasanya, nalopaha prajapadikantasya nakar lopaha. One more thing is ushman prajapadikamam. Sutam nashke, only nakarantam gets the padasanya. The suptingantam padam has a niyama sutram on that, which we already seen that, which is nashke. Nakarantasyeva padasanya nanyasya. But we have the ushman right now, so we are fine. We can use that. Ushman gets the padasanya, and we get the ushmayate, because after we do the nakar lopaha, but nalo pratipadikantasya, that's 827, but remember 822 we saw today. Nalopaha sup swarasanyati buddhishukriti. 822. So by that, nakal will become siddha for the 7425. Akrit sarvatakayoho dirgha. So become ushmayate. Ushmayate, ushmayate. So one more time. We do need, I think we need anuvritti of supaha. We do need over here, because we cannot get nakar lopaha until we get the padasanya by suptingantam padam. And in Niyama Sutram Nashki cannot stop it. We do have nakaranta ushman shabda right now. So then we'll have to use the nalo pratipadikantasya. Then we have to make it siddha for 7425 by 822. Limit the strength of a siddha, purvatra siddham in this case, and then only we can do the akrit sarvadhatukayoho dirgha. So ushmayate. Okay, there's a vartikam on this one. Phenachiti vaktavyam. So phenam udvamati phenayate. Somebody is frothing. When somebody froths, phenayate, sets out foam. One who emits foam. So phenachiti vaktavyam, again same meaning. Udvamati tirthe. So again phena plus plus kyang. Go through all the same steps, and the again 7425 is phenayate. So just like we had the bashpayate, phenayate. So we got these three right now. We got bashpayate, we got phenayate, we got I think it's ushman. Is it dirgha ukaraha? I think it was. No, I'm sorry. It's ushman, is it? Okay, I'm sorry. Take it. Let me try ushman. Because then I have to make correction in my document. Then it's not ushman, it's ushman, is it? Okay. Is there a ushman also? It is there. I'm sorry. Ushman. Okay. Yeah, vapor. That's what I thought. It is heat, vapor. Yeah, this is what it is. It's ushman is the steam or vapor exhalation. Let me double check that. Okay, so you know what? We make a correction. Let me double check. Yeah, ushmayate. Yes. So I was thinking heat is not a good meaning. Yes. Somebody who emits vapor or steam, exhalation, like So that is the ush. So make that in that. I didn't notice that in the book. I'm sorry. So ushmayate. I think you change that. Make it ushmayate. He emits. He says heat, but I think it's better to take it as ushmayate and take it in the meaning of vapor. Vapor, who emits vapor, ushmayate. I'm looking at the Kashika which I have, it says ushmayate. Let's go with that one. So be correction in the book, make it ushmayate. Because I was thinking it means vapor. But anyways, so this is ushmayate. Ushmayate. So we got these three over here. Now let's talk about the shabdayate, kalahayate, and these couple of these things over here. Nothing really special, just the next sutram. Only one thing is that in the sutram there's a different meaning is given, otherwise everything else will be the same. Is that shabda vaira kalaha abhra kanva meghebhya karane. Means doing that. Karane is not the karanam as the karaka. This is not instrumental. It means doing that. So shabdayate means he makes sound. To do that, to make shabda means to make sound. So vaira, so means he contracts hostility, enmity, to become enemy. So kalaha, to make a quarrel, kalahayate, somebody quarrels, kalahayate. Abhrayate, somebody makes clouds, abhrayate. Kanvayate, I think means papam, I think in this case. Kanvayate is papam karoti. Okay, so kanvayate. Meghayate, somebody makes. So karane. So that's the next sutram 3117. Shabda vaira kalaha bhra kanva meghebhya karane. And karmanaha anuvartate. So following when this is the object of the doing. So making sound, making enmity, making quarrel, making a cloud, making sin means I guess doing sin, doing cloud. So it says ebhya karmabhya karotyarte kyang syat. The word karana in the sutram does not have the grammatical meaning of instrumental case. Simply means doing that, doing whatever that one of these is. So when this is the karma, so karmanaha, karane, karane arthe, kyang syat. Shabdam karoti shabdayate. I mean, the prakriya is the same. Like tarunayate, shabdayate. Shabdam karoti shabdayate. Now there's a Vartikam on here. It says that, and we'll probably stop with this one now. Durdina, Sudina Durdina Nihare Bhyashchiti Vaktavyam. The Vartikam. Sudinam Karoti Sudinayate. Someone makes a good day. Someone makes a good day. Sudinam Karoti Sudinayate. Durdinam Karoti Durdinayate. So this is Vartikam. Sudina Durdina Nihare. I think Nihare is like a fog. Fog. So Nihare Bhyashchiti Vaktavyam. So this is, so you extend this list of Shabda, Vaira, Kalaha, Abhra, Kandava, Megha, and then you can use this in also from Sudina and Durdina and Nihare Bhyashchiti Vaktavyam. So Nihara, I think, is a fog, making a fog. So Niharayate, Niharayate means makes a fog. Nihara, Nihara, I think it's a fog. Yeah, it's a fog or a mist, making mist, making mist. I guess now we have this. Now we have this machine which make mist, right? So you can say niharayate, niharayate. So this is the Vartikam. Durdina, Sudina, Durdina, nihare bhyashchiti vaktavyam. So making mist or making a bad day, making a good day is a Vartikam. Sudinam karoti, Sudinayate, Durdinayate, Durdinayate. The last one for today is, we'll repeat this next time a little bit, is 3118, Sukadibhya Kartruvedanaya, experiencing happiness, etc. Says that Sukhayate. So Kartriti, this is 3118. This is definitely the last one for today. Last one for today is 3118, Sukadibhya Kartruvedanaya. So this is the different meanings. So first we had Bashmo Shpabhyam Udvamani, to emit. Then Shabdavairha Kalabhra Kanvamegebhya Karane, to make that. Then Sukadibhya Kartru Vedanaya. Vedanaya means to experience that, to go through the experience of happiness too. Says that. So Kartriti Pratak Padam Lupta Shashtikam. It means Kartuhu. Mrs. Kartru is really a Shashti is there. It has been dropped in Sutram irregularly. Vida Chetanakhyana Nivaseshu Churadigana. Chauradika Yuchi. Pratyaya Yuch, when you to this we don't need all of this. How the word Vedana was. This is Tattva Bodhini commentary, by the way, Siddhanta Kaumudi. Siddhanta Kaumudi, you should be Tattva Bodhini commentary. Tattva Bodhini commentary. Vedana Shabdaha Jnanavachi. Just take this one right now. Vedana Shabdaha Jnanavachi. Means to know that, means to feel that, to feel that, to experience that. Tadapeksham eva kartutvam. Kartutvam is not one who makes happiness, but one who feels, one who enjoys, one who experiences happiness, experiencing happiness. So karta cha sukhadibhiranveti. So karta sukhadibhir means one who understands, experiences, feels happy. Sukhadibhyaha, karmabhyaha, experiencing that, knowing that, feeling that. Vedanayam arthe, that is the one, feeling, knowing, experiencing that. Kyang syat, vedana kartur eva yadi sukhadini syuhu. You experience happiness yourself, not that you feel somebody else's happiness. So you experience happiness yourself, for yourself. So vedana kartur eva yadi sukhadini syuhu. There should be the one who experiences that experience which is happiness, that experience that he experiences himself, not somebody else's sukhadini, somebody else's. Sukham vedayate, sukhayate. I mean, once you get sukha, then sukha plus plus kyang. Just to be like the taruna at the same steps. Everywhere in all these places you get the akrut sarvataka dirgaha. Then kartagrahanam kim parasya sukham vedayate. He understands somebody else's happiness. So iha yannishtam sukham. So the sukham is connected with somebody else. Tad bhinno vedana karta iti. But the enjoyer or the experiencer or the feeler is different from the person who has the joy. Vakyameva bhavati. So parasya sukham vedayati atrakyang pratyo na bhavati. You cannot say sukhayate. And then what is sukhadiha? Is sukha, dukkha, tripra. To be tripra means like satisfaction, tripti. Krichra means like difficulty. Krichrayate. Means he experiences like anguish or difficulty or hassle. He is basically his hassle, Krichrayate. Sukhayate, dukkhayate. He experiences, he feels joy, he feels unhappiness, he feels contentment. Tripra. Krichrayate. He feels anguish. His anguish. So this is the we stop with that now. Sukhadibhya kartru vedanayam is to experience that. So even though these three sutras, which are pratyakhyang only coming, but three different meanings. Bhashmoshmabhyam udvamane, to emit tears or vapor, maybe heat, and also phenachiti vaktavyam, and to froth, to foam. Now, karane shabda vairha kala bhrakkanva meghebhya, to make noise, to make enmity, to make quarrel. Shabdayate, vairayate, kalahayate. And then sukhadibhya kartru vedanayam, to experience or to feel joy, etc. for yourself. That is that. So three different meanings, same pratyakhyang. We will stop with that in the book. We are now on this page. We finished all of these. Spent a lot of time on the Dhuma. Dhuma, I think we spent a lot of time on that, putting him back to the Lohita Adiganaha. Bhusha Adiganaha. So Bhusha Adiganaha, we did that for him. So we have Dhuma Ayate. Again, this is Tadvati. Non-smoky place became smoky. Shabdayate, Kalahayate, Karane. He makes noise, he makes quarrel. This is Udvamane. Bashpayate, Phenayate. This is Vartikam, Phenachiti Bhaktavyam. Ushmayate, I think it's it. Then same thing Vartikam. Sudhinayate, Dunya. I think this is also different meaning, I think. Since the weather is fair. See, that was not the meaning you got, because Vartikam was coming under the same Karane. Something makes a good day, or make a good day, or I guess it means to make a good day means it is a good day, I guess. To make Sudhinayate. I guess God makes a good day someday. Maybe take it. I'm just thinking right now. But the meaning is Sudhinam Karoti. Sudhinayate. Someone, I guess, Ishvara Sudhinam Karo Sudhinayate. So God makes a good day, so it means it's a good day. But meaning is Sudhinam Karoti. Even though in the book he is given the weather is bare, it means somebody's making a good day. Making a good day. So Durdhinayate. Then Sukhayate, Dukkhayate is Kartru Vedanaya. Next time we look at the Pratyaya Chvi. 5450. Okay, 5450 do for homework. And 7432, 7426. This is Nagaraji Sutram. 7426 Chva Ucha. One time in the class I forgot this Sutram. Luckily for me, Nagaraji was there and he reminded me in Raghumsha class I forgot this Sutram. Chva Ucha. I will not forget it now. So Chva Ucha. 7426, 7427, we already saw that. And then you can look at this section from 1461 to 1477 for the Gati Sanya, and we'll stop with that. Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Vihata Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Raman Nasti Paranam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittale Sada Bhautame Ghoramamamuddhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattuliyam Ramanama Varayane.